Does anyone remember when a super cool Avengers Infinity War toy leak revealed that the Hulk would be busting out of the Hulkbuster? Fans were super excited to see the Green Giant smash his way out of the suit, but this moment never actually made its way into the film. So, what gives? It turns out that this moment ended up on the cutting room floor. But we're not completely missing out because we finally got a look at the epic deleted scene that answers all of our questions. Back in March of 2018, some Avengers Infinity War toy leaks gave us a few clues about what we would expect from the upcoming film. A leaked Lego set revealed that the Hulk would be piloting a supersuit called the Hulkbuster, an expertly specialized heavy-duty armor developed by Bruce Banner. The set hyped up excited fans with its awesome description, which urged them to use the set to smash the missile installation of the shooting tower with the powerful fist of Hulkbuster and crush the 6-armed enemy. We were all super excited to see the Hulkbuster in action on the big screen, but another major toy leak suggested that the Hulkbuster suit wouldn't be in action for very long. After the events of Thor Ragnarok showed Banner losing himself almost completely to the power of the Hulk, fans were wondering if he could really keep the Green Monster in check during Infinity War. A leaked image of an official action figure called the Hulk Out Hulkbuster featured both the Hulkbuster suit and the Hulk. A quick blurb on the package boasted that fans could use the set to let the Hulk break out of his Hulkbuster armor. It was thought to be a major movie moment that most people were quick to look forward to. But once we all caught Infinity War in theaters, this Hulk-busting maneuver was nowhere to be found. Luckily, we don't have to wait any longer to finally see what would have gone down if the Hulk had smashed his way out of the suit. The recently released Infinity Saga box set features tons of deleted scenes and bonus content from all 23 Marvel films in the first 3 phases of the MCU, including the aforementioned Hulk-busting moment. It's not a fully polished version of the scene, but it does include some rough CG animation and an amazing acting performance from Mark Ruffalo. In the scene, Bruce Banner pleads with the Hulk to come out and fight while he's battling against Thanos' intergalactic thug called Obsidian. The Hulk and Bruce go back and forth, with the Hulk hesitant to make an appearance because he's well aware of how bad things can get when he loses control. But Bruce promises him that he has an idea, and then Professor Hulk smashes out of the suit. Professor Hulk is a pretty big deal to comic book fans, as he's the idealized version of Bruce, where he has all the strength of the Savage Hulk, but retains the awareness and intelligence of Bruce Banner. With Professor Hulk on the loose, Cull is then punched up into the sky, and by the time he makes it back down to Earth, he's toast. While a more polished version of the scene would be epic, this rough cut does give us an interesting look at the animation and production process behind Marvel's huge CGI battle scenes. We get to see how animators create the battle with computer graphics and layer the scene together to make something that looks incredibly realistic when it hits theaters. Plus, actors like Mark Ruffalo don their motion capture suits and get the action and movements to look as believable as possible. We also have to give Mark Ruffalo major props for being able to act so convincingly just sitting in front of a green screen and talking to himself. So, why was such an epic battle scene cut anyway? Ultimately, the filmmakers decided it was best not to bring Hulk back after he was beaten down by Thanos earlier in the film. Directors Joe and Anthony Russo revealed their rationale during a Smithsonian event in Washington, D.C. Joe Russo admitted that it was just too predictable to have the Hulk save Banner during the big climax. So instead, the filmmakers decided to give Banner a moment of self-empowerment by forcing him to step up and take on Cull all on his own. The brothers also confirmed that the Hulk's inclusion in clips of the final battle for trailers and promos was totally on purpose. With so many leaks coming out about the Marvel films, keeping fans on their toes was of utmost importance. Joe and Anthony Russo attributed Hulk's unwillingness to return and, well, Hulk out, to the Green Giant getting tired of always having to save Bruce Banner. But since Banner was ultimately still able to defeat Cull Obsidian, the decision to have Hulk stay quiet didn't really change much of the plot. It just made fans wait a little bit longer to get a glimpse of Professor Hulk. But since we still got a chance to see the rough cut of the original scene, it seems like a win-win, right? Christopher Marcus, who co-wrote Infinity War and Endgame, elaborated on the reasoning behind saving Professor Hulk for Endgame. Marcus said, "We wrote it, we shot it, and we went on to shoot most of Endgame, and he achieved union with Hulk while inside the Hulkbuster. It didn't work. We had already shot Endgame, where he was already Smart Hulk. But if Endgame had already been shot, how did the filmmakers get around the unexplained existence of Smart Hulk at the beginning of the movie?" It turns out it was pretty simple. They filmed a diner scene during reshoots where Bruce Banner would explain the change himself. He tells Captain America, Black Widow, and Ant-Man that in the 5 years between the decimation and the time heist, he worked in the Gamma Lab for 18 months in order to fuse the two sides of his personality. He combined the brains and the brawn together, resulting in the birth of Smart Hulk. Marcus explained that a big sequence where you see the union takes away from the attention of the story. Instead, becoming Smart Hulk was just something that Bruce had to do eventually, and the period of quiet after most of the world was wiped out seemed like the opportune moment for him to work on himself. But becoming smart wasn't the only way Hulk changed forever during Avengers Endgame. Bruce Banner's arm was also severely damaged when he channeled the power of the Infinity Stones to bring everyone back to life.
Bruce!
Showrunners have confirmed that the injury is definitely permanent, which we see as quite fitting since the events of the decimation and its consequences are going to impact many Marvel movies yet to come. While Bruce Banner and the Hulk are cherished characters in the MCU, it hasn't been a smooth path for the two. Edward Norton originally started as the iconic character in 2008's The Incredible Hulk. It's easy to forget that the underappreciated film is a part of the MCU legacy. It served as an origin story, but there are only a few occasional references to it in the recent MCU films, like Bruce recalling the time he broke Harlem.
Thanks, but the last time I was in New York, I kind of broke Harlem.
And the return of William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross. Edward Norton told the New York Times, "I laid out a two-film thing, the origin and then the idea of Hulk as the conscious dreamer, the guy who can handle the trip." Norton even compared the direction the series was supposed to go in to Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy, which suggests that the Hulk could have been a lot darker. But his vision for the Green Giant would go unrealized when the franchise went in a new direction and Mark Ruffalo was tapped to play Bruce Banner. We last got to see Hulk in Avengers Endgame, sending Captain America back in time to replace the Infinity Stones.
Going quantum. 3, 2, 1.
Hulk is unique among the MCU characters because he's the only character for whom Marvel cannot make solo movies, so the Edward Norton film has to serve as his own solo venture, at least until a new deal is worked out. His rights belong to Universal Pictures, so they have a first refusal option on any future Hulk projects. Essentially, this means that if Marvel wanted to make a Hulk solo movie, it would first have to offer Universal the distribution, similar to how Sony Pictures distributes the MCU Spider-Man movies. But the Green Goliath did have his time to shine in Thor Ragnarok, so there's a lot of potential for Bruce to have more important roles in the MCU franchises. In fact, Mark Ruffalo revealed back in 2017 that Thor Ragnarok was the start of a new Hulk trilogy that would find Hulk disconnected from Bruce Banner and living a life as a gladiator on the planet Sakaar. Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige had asked Ruffalo for his insight on what direction the character should take, and the two hatched a plan for executing a 3-story character arc through Hulk's next 3 MCU appearances. The second installment of the trilogy was Avengers Infinity War, where the Hulk refused to come out at all, and then the final act was Avengers Endgame, where Banner and Hulk finally found some common ground. But if the trilogy is complete, what does that mean for Bruce Banner and the Phase 4 Marvel films? The good news is that Mark Ruffalo originally signed a 6-film deal with Marvel, and he's only appeared in 5, so we can look forward to seeing him play Hulk in at least one more film. Plus, Marvel is very attached to Ruffalo in the role, with Kevin Feige describing Ruffalo as a master at not going too deep or dark, but taking that inner pain and kind of trying to become zen about it. He thinks it's just a much more charismatic and engaging way to see it. He says, "I've always wanted Hulk to talk more than he has and find the right circumstances, and finally, we have that here." While there's yet to be a confirmation of where he could appear next in the MCU, Ruffalo has commented that he'd like to see him hang out with some of the new folks, maybe like a guru to some of the younger ones. So maybe we'll see Hulk next when he's taking on the role of a mentor. So it's likely that Smart Hulk will stick around to take on this position, since the MCU has decided to cross Unify Banner and Hulk off their to-do list. But if seeing a deleted scene of Hulk in action isn't enough for you, you'll be happy to know that the Infinity Saga box set includes lots of never-before-seen content from the MCU films, including deleted scenes from Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Avengers, Age of Ultron, and all the Iron Man films. While the box set will cost you a pretty penny, and it's sold out anyways, details from the many deleted scenes are out there and ready for analysis. If deleted scenes don't quite cut it, we'll have to anxiously await the upcoming Phase 4 films and Disney Plus projects to see where Bruce Banner and Hulk will make their next big appearance. With so much under wraps about the news installments, a Hulk cameo could really come at any moment. The closest thing we have to a theory about where Hulk will end up next is courtesy of the upcoming series WandaVision on Disney Plus. Since Wanda will be exploring a type of alternate reality in the series, she may encounter a version of Hulk that's not quite as common unified as he is in Endgame. He appears in the comics, and he's definitely not the zen smart Hulk we've all grown to love. It's hard to say if Marvel will choose to have a version of Hulk return to his destructive ways, but exploring the many multiverses makes it a reasonable option. Would you have liked to see the Hulk-busting scene make it into Infinity War? And what do you hope is next for Bruce Banner? Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to keep up to date.
And Hulk. Smash.